Hi, I'm Pat Iyer, and I am so pleased to be able to tell you about a new conference for legal nurse consultants. It's a virtual conference taking place October 23, 24, and 25 in 2020. Some of the people who were attendees at our conference in July 2020 share their thoughts about what it was like to be a part of that conference. Get to know them in this quick video, and be sure to go to the link at the end of the video to sign up for the conference. That link is lnc.tips/October 2020 virtual. And if you're seeing this video after the conference is over, we will have those recordings available for you so you can get all of the information and opportunities to find out more about building your legal nurse consulting business.
Now, I know that you were an attendee at our prior conference. What were your
Absolutely. Totally loved it. Totally loved it. I know that the Zoom conferences are probably going to be here for a while. And at the beginning, I was like, wow, I don't know if I want to sit behind a screen all day long, but it was nothing like that. It was interactive. There were breakouts. There was networking. There was information. There was inside information from a lot of the speakers, like the fellow that was involved in the Joan Rivers case. I mean, that was just so exciting to hear. So I just totally loved it. In fact, I loved it so much. And even before it started, I wanted to be a sponsor. So I'm going to be a sponsor again this year. And I just wanted to share with everybody how wonderful this is to be able to bring legal nurses back together again, because we can't go to chapter meetings. We can't go to the forums anymore. So this is a great way to do it.
First, I would like to just mention I attended the first Legal Nurse Consulting virtual conference last month, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. A lot of versatility, wonderful speakers, a lot of great topics, and I'm very excited to be back this time as a speaker.
Thank you for having me on, and you all will not be disappointed. So many people are trying to find their voice. They're used to speaking live. But let me tell you, you will not be disappointed by this virtual conference. They make you feel welcome. You get to go into chat rooms. You get to do all these things that it's not a two-dimensional presentation. This thing takes you places that they really want to be. And I want you all to be there, please.
Thank you so much for that. We did receive great comments after the first conference, as you know, and you're sharing forward. And one thing that we did hear from people so much was that they didn't realize how much networking that they would actually have the opportunity for, and how many connections developed as a result of our first conference. So thank you so much, Joe. We look forward to seeing you. We look forward to having you join us on October 23, 24, 25, 2020 for our second virtual Legal Nurse Consulting Success Conference. Please see the link below, lnc.tips/October 2020 virtual. We look forward to seeing you.
Hi, this is Pat Iyer with Legal Nurse Podcast, and I have the pleasure of bringing today to you a OB-GYN and family practice physician who I met through my contacts on LinkedIn. Dr. Carolle Jean-Murat is a person who is a teacher, she's a mentor, and she works with physicians who need some help with their stress or practice or behavioral issues that arise in the course of them working as physicians. One of the things that we talked about when we were getting to know each other was that as legal nurse consultants, it's so important that you be able to establish trusting relationships with your clients. And it's something that we are asked to do every time we walk into a patient's room and start assuming care of that patient. I wanted to bring Carol on the show so that she could share with us some of her insights and her experiences as to how she views this as a physician. Well, welcome to the show, Carol.
Thank you, merci.
Let's focus in on establishing trust. And I know that that's something that you deal with as a physician, as do we as nurses. Can you break that down for us a little bit in terms of what we can do to form those deep connections with the people that we are interacting with?
In my experience as a woman and coming to San Diego as a Black woman, where there were no Black women surgeon, and being able to develop an instant trust. What I feel was very important is that first I knew who I was. By the time I came to San Diego, I felt I was very well trained. I had my clinical skills, my surgical skills, my bedside manners, and also I grew up my sense of self very strong. I had a grandmother who raised me since I was 4. She didn't know how to read and write. And I had a father who always said, you can be the best that you can be. So I always felt very confident about who I am. And I studied in many different countries, for example, speaking in my 4th language. So that's why English is my 4th language with an accent. So always there is a sense of confidence. So let's say if I would go somewhere, anywhere, I go as this is who I am. I guess people say this is what you present. This is me. I know what I'm doing, and I'm going to be doing the best for you, and no compromise. And this is, if you want somebody to do the work, if it's a patient, for example, they call me at 2:00 in the morning and she's passing through in a honeymoon, and then she has a ruptured ectopic pregnancy and she's hemorrhaging to death. And I just walked in and I said, this is what's happening. Those are the facts. And this is what I'm going to do for you. And I'm going to do the best for you. And looking at the person in their eyes, and I'm finding out later, I wrote my memoirs and I found out everywhere I would say, as I look them into their eyes, and I'm realizing the eyes are the mirror of the soul. So when I feel comfortable and I'm saying to this, in America, some cultures do not look at them eye to eye, but in America, it's just like, hey, this is who I am. This is what I can do. And my demeanor, and then we're talking the first 2, 3, 4, 5 seconds. It's make it or break it. And that's what I found out, because it's just like, hey, know who I am. This is what you want. This is what I'm going to offer, and I'm it. That's what has worked for me all these years.
I'd like to go back to something that you said that really got my attention. And that is, you were raised by a grandmother who didn't know how to read or write. And you came from that environment and became a physician.
Yes.
That was
against a lot of odds.
Yeah, that was
a lot of odds.
Difference for you growing up. What did
Yes.
your grandmother think about your accomplishments?
My purpose is now.
Did she live long enough to see you become a physician?
My grandmother, she always said the day she cannot clean herself, she was going to die. And she died in a bed at 87. Oh no, she died on the commode. And she said, I don't want to go in the commode the day I cannot take care of myself. I'm going to die. And imagine, about 2 weeks later, she walked a mile to go to church. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And it was that strength. So I feel that I have become her. I'm more wiser as time goes by. As time goes by, and that she's always told me that. And then the only reason that I'm able to be where I am is because I had to believe that. I remember something just came to mind. We were at a meeting at one of the hospitals. It was this mortality and morbidity meeting, and there was a small white lady. She was the social worker with the patient. She's very shy. She was very shy and very demeanor. And then I remember Dr. Marino, and I said, it was the one the chairman of that. And I said, Dr. Marino, you know what I wish? I wish I could be like her. Very nice and sweet and so. He said, it wouldn't be you.
Mhm.
It wouldn't be you. It's just like I always say, why could I be quiet and I would like be, like a, but it's me. But let's say for the person who's listening to this, it's just like wherever you're going, and then it has nothing to do, and I find out it has nothing to do with gender or race. My belief is people want somebody to do the job. If you're going to go anywhere, the person, let's say they have 2 employees, 1 employee, 20 employees leading a company, it's about business. The first sentence I learned in English was British English. Business is business. So they're going to hire the person that they feel are more qualified, unless there is baloney. So I always had that in my mind that I'm going to go somewhere and then this is what I can do. I'm very open. You could see exactly what I can do. I'm not lying. I'm not saying, if I cannot do it, I say I can't. I learn. And that's one thing. I remember going to in New York while I'm trying to go to medical school. And there was a company, RCA Global Communication, and then circuit engineering. And I'm looking for a job, and I already had a job at AT&T as a clerk. And I want to save money to go to medical school. I'm in New York, and I'm going to go to Mexico. And when I went to interview for the job, and the guy who was interviewing me is Black. And he said to me, I want you to know, they never hired a Black person in this company. They say they do, is because, and I've seen people qualified, less qualified getting the job. And I told him, I've already have a job at AT&T. They're paying more, so that's why I'm here. I already have a job. If they didn't want to give me the job, that's okay. So I went to the interview, Mr. Fradella, and then I saw him, and then he's showing me, I remember a big telephone switchboard and things like that. And he said, and he's showing me this is what we're going to do. And we came in front of the switchboard that I would cover for when the other secretary is going to lunch for an hour. And he said to me, and between 12 and 1, you're going to be answering the phone on the switchboard. And I looked at him, I've never seen one before. And I said, okay, I'll learn how to do it. So we had the interview, I just be myself and barely speaking English then. And then I went down, and then I said to him, okay, if this is not going to hire me, I have my job on Monday. And then I took the train. By the time I got home, he said, I don't know what you did. You got the job. And he said, I was shocked. Then, of course, I want to know why. I said, Mr. Fradella, after I had the job and I'm working, why did you give me the job? I heard you were very prejudiced here. Why did you give me the job? You know what his answer was? He looked at me. He didn't even know. He looked at me. He said, the way you look at the switchboard, and I could see you've never seen it before, but the way quickly you answered, I will learn it. So then I'm thinking, yes, they send a lot of bimbos here to do the job, and we are in circuit engineering. We have numbers, and then you had the highest score that we ever had. So I wanted you. And also when you came and you said, I will learn it. And I said, I want this person on my team.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It was that confidence and not like, and knowing your limitations. And that's always what I've done. As let's say, I always make sure I had, when I was doing surgery, that I had the best surgeon. If I'm going to do a gynecological case, the best surgeon to assist me, because I know it's there. And I said, my limitation. So we developed a relationship. And then in some cases, when I knew the cases were tough, I would we have UCSD School of Medicine. So we have one of the doctors, like Dr. Plax. And then I will call him and we'll go as co-surgeon. So I never go, I'm going to be the surgeon, I'm going to do this, is there any complication? My patient is first. So I have a reputation of honesty, integrity, knowing my limit. And so everywhere I'm very well respected is because, and guess what? I'm the only Black. So, and pretty soon they start sending me their mothers, their daughters, their sisters, And we don't know what she does, but what she does works.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
I think you're bringing up the need to establish your confidence, to display your confidence. Some of the
Yes.
people listening to this podcast may not have worked with attorneys, may not have done any cases, and are not feeling confident. And yet it's that
Yes.
old dilemma that I know you're familiar with, that you can't gain skill unless somebody gives you a chance. And you have to do a certain number of cases in order to feel confident, whether
Yes.
you're a surgeon who's working on operating on patients or you're a nurse who's working with attorneys on cases.
Anything.
Is there any way to bridge the gap between the inexperienced, shaky confidence person to the person who can assure the attorney that the attorney will get that nurse's best work product or that best effort?
All right. So like I said, my answer applies to everything because I teach students, I teach residents, I go to schools and lay people, and it is the same. Let's say whatever you're doing, you have to know what you're doing. That's to me, the basic things, whether you're going to drive a car, whether you're a mechanic, you are the best mechanic. You're continuously learning, you know your limitations, and you know when you don't know, and say, I don't know, I'll do the research, especially these days with Google. I call it Miss Google. It has to be a woman, too smart. And when you, because people might be shy, like the social worker, I said, I wish I was to be like her. But she was the best social worker. And it's knowing if it's, let's say you're going to go, it's workman's comp, whatever it is, so you know the rules, you know everything.
Mm-hmm.
That alone, even you're shy, you could be, okay, this is me, but then I know what I'm doing. To me, this is the most important. This is the most important. Like when I used to do surgery, I still go to surgery in Haiti, but here in America, when I go to the emergency room, when I used to do surgery, for the person, it said, hi, I am Dr. Jean-Murat. I am going to be your surgeon. I'm going to be the best for you. Any question? And the person would look at me in the eyes, and we look, and I say, that's me. And the person would say, I don't have any questions. I trust you. We're talking life and death. So it's just me presenting, I know what I'm going to do, and I'm going to do my best for you. So as a nurse, or has anybody listening to this, you know, before you go and apply, I can do this job for you. Just the confidence of you knowing that you can do it, whether you're shy or not, I can do it. And what I find out, when you have that confidence that you can do it and you deliver, then you can name your price. Mm-hmm. And because one of the things that I found out that works, because I go and speak how to be successful in what you do. And what I found out is that when you are always, you don't ask for, oh, I want this, me. Like you want to change things, it's the milieu, it's the secretary, it's the other people working, it's the patients, it's the clients, it's there. So when you say, I am doing this because I found could be a better way. And also, like I told you, I have two sisters one is the psychiatric nurse, the head of the psychiatric nurse at one of the major hospitals in the country. One was an ICU nurse. And also when I trained in Jamaica, the patients would have been there 20 times. The charts were that big. And then, so I found out pretty quickly, I do not have to go and spend a lot of times finding out what to do. Find your allies. So my allies were the nurse. Mm-hmm. So it could be anybody in any situation. What is it? And you go and you enroll this person. We are in this together to do this. To do this particular job, we're going to do the best. And also I found out my willingness to not to say I'm a doctor on a pedestal, and I've the secretary in my office. I remember one day I was passing by, the phone is ringing and she's trying to do something with the patient. I pick up the phone and the patient said, I said, hi, this is Dr. Jean-Murat. I said, you answering the phone? And I said, what's wrong? It's my phone. But I said, she's busy. So while I'm passing by, and I could take a minute, and so that means what happened is the people I work with, they know I have their back, and my patients know where they're going to go to a place where they're going to feel accepted. That's it. Simple. It's simple. Communication, respect, healthy boundaries. You're going to respect me, I'm going to respect you. You have your job, that's what you do, and that's what I do. And you can depend on me, because when I said I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it. Those are basic communication skills and work ethics, because when you have that, and it's just like, then your reputation goes, it's, oh, you need her. And a simple example. I didn't know that when I was doing surgery, the nursings were fighting to scrub with me. When they had students coming into the OR, they would fight. I didn't know that until, another thing. I'm giving you another simple thing. 7:30 case in the morning. Everybody wants the 7:30 case because there is nobody's going to bump you. 7:30 case. But if you late, you're going to, the operating room, 2, 3, 4 cases are going to be disturbed. I saw Marty years later, and he said, you didn't know that we always give you your time. She told me that we always give you the time because we know you're going to be there by 7:20. You want to be there. Your patient is going to sleep. You there. You take her from the holding area to the operating room. You're there with them, and then you don't scream. Everybody fight to scrub with you. That's it. That's it. So you can think in a situation where they could be racist, or I'm a woman and everything. But when I'm around, I'm always smiling. I'm always, oh, that's the thing. People say, you're always smiling. I said, yes. If I have something with my husband at home, I leave him at home. When I walk into the operating room, when I walk into my office, I'm in the moment. So those are tools, being in the moment. This is who I am, and I'm going to do my best. So your reputation goes.
It's clear that nurses love to work with you, and the people who are listening to this program might be working on medical malpractice cases where the communication has broken down. I'm sure that the Joint Commission studies the untoward incidents and found that miscommunication is the #1 cause of patient safety issues and injuries.
Yes.
Can you give us any insight as nurses as to, and I know this is your area as well, what drives the physicians who don't have those communication skills, who are coming across as know-it-alls or arrogant, or you can't tell me what I'm supposed to be doing, young lady, I've been a doctor, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Is there any insight that you know from working with physicians that helps us understand that behavior? Because that causes so much trouble in the healthcare system.
I can give you my example. When I walked, I would say I'm a resident, and I guess it has to be the way you present yourself. One doctor screamed at me because I called him blah blah blah, and then during 2 o'clock in the morning, and he came in the morning and said, good morning. And I just went and called him and I said, Dr. Bynes, this is not a good morning. He said, what do you mean? I said, Dr. Bynes, last night you screamed at me. Like, so? And I said, Dr. Dr. Bynes, I would have never called you at 2 o'clock in the morning unless you're not on call. So next time I call you, you know that I've double, triple checked that you're on call. I would have never called you. So what I did in a residency training, I'm the only woman and Black. So it's even, and a foreigner. Everybody, I realized, oh, they really think I'm a bottom of the totem pole when I think I'm the smartest person on earth. So I will take each one separately. I'll give you an example. I said, Dr. Babbitts is like a short and Napoleon complex. And I said, Dr. Babbitts, can we talk? He said, yes, that's the thing. This is a teaching program, and I want to finish it. I don't want to go anywhere. Dr. Babbitts, you're the best surgeon. You're the best, one of the best surgeon, your skills, and I want to learn from you. Why don't you teach me? Why don't you teach me? I guess they never had anybody, because I guess sometimes the people are coming out like, it's because they feel they have to prove. But when you go, and it's like a rope, they call it rope a dope. The person goes like this and you just, but that's what I want. That's what I want. Or if they say, if you tug of war, you have two ropes, you're pulling and everything. No, drop it. People don't know what to do. And I said, you might see I'm the best nurse working for you. And pretty soon, I'll give you an example. Dr. Paulson was the best surgeon. Nobody wants to scrub with him because he never gives you the case. But I realized, oh my God, his skills as a surgeon, because you go and scrub with 23 doctors. So, and I would be there, cut, too short, too long. They call it too short, too long. And then one day he looked at me. Oh, it doesn't, you make rounds, he doesn't sign your notes like everybody else. He ignores you, but I'm scrubbing with him. And he said, oh, you're scrubbing with me still? I said, yes. And he said, why? I said, you're the best. And I make sure my residents, by the time I think almost finishing my third year, 64-year training, I say, I make sure my residents go and scrub with you, whether they want it or not, because you're the best. He looked at me and I looked at him and he said, sit down. And he let me do, it put me, and I did the vaginal hysterectomy. It's just like, oh my God. And then it was like consistency. If you ask me what is the trick, consistency. You're the best. I need to learn from you. And people like to be loved and accepted. But if somebody's, and you go, no, you just go, oh, okay. But I'm here, I'm doing my job. It's all about energy. It's all about energy. And those who speak louder, they need to be loved and accepted more.
Yeah, that's true. There's most likely a facade there, and behind the facade is somebody who is insecure or angry or hurting in some way. Somewhere. I think as nurses work with physicians closely in a highly stressed environment, they see the human side of each other.
Yes.
But sometimes the wall is so high that relationship never develops. And
I don't think there is any wall. You know what? That's my belief. There is no wall that is high.
All right.
I don't believe it. See, I believe you can conquer any wall. You have to go further and jump higher. And then it's not, doesn't mean that I had to do more, but I was doing what I was supposed to do. And pretty soon they were fighting. How come you're not scrubbing with me? Because by the time I learned so quick, see one, do one, teach one in the surgical field. Yes. And then I write my note.
Yes, I remember that expression.
So by you never heard it?
No, I did hear it. Yes, I said I remember that expression.
Yes, it's a see one, do one, teach one. So that means if you cannot see one, do one, teach one, you better leave. You don't belong there. That's what I'm saying. Whatever task you're going to do, you have to make sure that you know what you're doing. You know, and you know it. And that's what I say. I've never, I never had any, when it comes to true human things, communication and things, in time of things need, they always look at me. People look at me. What do we do? Because I have a brain, because I've been in countries where there was nothing. We have to work, make things out of nothing. And it's just like, she'll find a way. And I never boasted anything. I'm there. What can we do? And we have a case, and I'm assisting, and then it's the toughest case. You say you open it, you have to close, or you have to do the best you can. It's, oh, maybe let's try this, and it's just like we're working. It's just like you're the best. I'm just there. I'm learning from you. So I'm always putting myself one step backward. Well, I'm not step back, not one step back. Hey, you're my teacher, and I remember in my hospital, and we had an elderly, advanced age lady she was cleaning the floors. We didn't have any black folks where I was. And so we were talking about whatever the conversation. She said, oh, I have no value in this hospital. And I sat her down. I said, you're the most important person in this hospital. She said, I am? I said, I just finished a delivery. You just cleaned the room. If you're on strike, we cannot do any deliveries. We cannot go back and do another delivery or in a surgery unless you're there. So and I said, you're more important than the hospital administrator. He might be going for a month, the hospital will run, but not you. And he said, oh. So those are the little things. Those are the little things I feel open doors for me. Acceptance of everybody. And then they know, it doesn't matter your race, your sex, whatever, who you are. I see you as a human being. I'm just asking you to see me as a human being. And I'm one of the best too. So then the doors have to open. Do you see what I'm saying?
Mhm.
I know I know it's just like whatever needs to be done. Whatever needs to be done, I'm always helping. And I tell people, because you're there, then there are people above you. Always help people above you and under you. Never, where you are, never stand still and say, I'm better than this or I'm better than you. No, it said, we are in this together. This is a pie, this is a cake with multiple slices. We all forming it. And the most important person in this place is the patient, the candle in the middle. So you can, you'll be, if you're there, you're able to do anything you can do. That's been, I guess I was raised like that. And I found out he served me. And then to me, the most important thing is my patient. So whatever it takes. So for somebody listening, whatever you take a case, the case is that person is going to win, or is you going to be working with everybody. It's a teamwork.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's learning how to do teamwork.
Well, if I can do a quick summary of what I heard you say, Carol, and then I'll ask you how our listeners can find out more about you and your services. I think you've stressed to us right from the beginning that establishing rapport and connecting with people comes from being confident, being able to assure the attorney client that you're going to do the best possible job for that person.
Yes.
Maintaining eye contact is a big thing in terms of helping people feel comfortable with you.
Yes.
You've emphasized also at the same time that it's important to be clear about what you can do, and also that sometimes you have to look things up and investigate further in order to be able to help your client.
Yes, learn.
And
Yes.
you have shared several stories with us, which I find fascinating, about your ability to connect with people, to overcome barriers. We all have our own sets of barriers, depending upon who we are, how old we are, what we look like, where we come from. There's always something that is important for us to recognize. These are our strengths. These are the things that another person could hold against us, and that we come from our strengths in connecting with people. And I love your last story about the woman cleaning the floors of the hospital making her feel important and valued by pointing out the critical job that she does is
Yes.
probably, I would wager, not something that a housekeeping person hears very often. They may perceive themselves as being at the bottom of the pecking
Yes.
order, and yet a complex system doesn't function without all of the parts, all of the
Without,
people
it's a
doing
piece
what they
of the
need to do.
pie, of the cake.
Right,
Yes.
as you said, we're all slices of the cake, and
Yes.
patients in the
Yes.
middle.
Yes. The patient, I always tell the patient, I don't scream this for me, but then I need to have scrubs because I'm tall and didn't have any scrubs, and I was way to fight for scrub. And one day I said, all right, I'm going to deliver my patients on my underwear. It's clean, like my grandmother would say, make sure I clean underwear. If I don't get my scrubs right now, I'm going to go and deliver the patients with my underwear. They knew I was going to do it. So, please not. And then, and that's what I say. You can, and then, I'm not demanding anything. I'm asking for what I need to do my work. And so
Mm-hmm. How can our listener find out more about you and the services that you offer?
I'm now the services that I'm offering are. I work with doctors. I am a mentor for residents at UCSD School of Medicine. I am a burnout prevention coach. So I'm showing them how to fill themselves up, then they can be the best for their patients. But also on my website, I have some books that I write. I have books about forgiveness, how to heal your life. I have many books that I've written for lay people, and I'm going to continue writing more books. So on my website, drcarolle.com, drcarolle.com. So I have books. People love my books.
All right, perfect.
Yes.
And would you say your website again one more time?
drcarolle.com, drcarolle.com.
Okay.
drcarolle.com.
Perfect. All right.
Yes.
Well, thank you so much for sharing your experiences, your stories, your energy with our audience. I know that they will enjoy listening to you. And thank you to you, the person who's listening to this podcast, for spending 30 minutes with us. Hopefully you've gotten some insight, some inspiration, some tips that will help you as you're connecting with your clients. Be sure to come back next week for another edition of Legal Nurse Podcast, and tell other legal nurse consultants that you know about the podcast and encourage them to listen. Thanks so much. Hi, this is Pat Iyer with Legal Nurse Podcast, and I have just finished speaking with Ananya Datta, who is an emergency medicine pediatric nurse practitioner. We've been talking about a subject that chills all of us, which is non-accidental trauma and child abuse, and the symptoms and signs that a nurse practitioner would be looking for when a patient or a child is brought into the emergency department. What will our listeners get from being able to watch this podcast on our YouTube channel or listen to it on our audio channels?
In this episode, we really take a deep dive into understanding the role of a clinician, whether it's a nurse practitioner or a nurse, and how it's not focused on criminal behavior, but focused on taking apart the documentation, putting it together through a thorough timeline, and understanding how we can better piece together the medical interpretation for child abuse cases.
Thank you, Ananya. And to you who's watching this, be sure to look for the podcast with Ananya Datta so that you can learn more about this subject and how you as a legal nurse consultant may be involved in helping attorneys, either criminal defense attorneys or prosecutors, with these types of cases.
Thank you.